The Roman navy was always considered an inferior arm and was strictly under army control. But during the First Punic War, Rome proved itself capable of launching a fleet capable of checking an established naval power such as Carthage. Romans were no sailors though. They had no knowledge of shipbuilding. Their ships were in fact built copying the example of captured Carthaginian vessels, combined with the expertise supplied by the Greek cities of southern Italy. Rather unexpected success in battle was obtained by a logical Roman idea that a warship was little more than a floating platform on which the soldiers could be brought into close contact with the enemy. Roman naval vessels were waterproofed using pitch and paint, made of wood, and propelled by both sail and oars. Ships with multiple levels of rowers, such as the trireme, were fast and maneuverable enough to attack enemy vessels by ramming. The largest ships were the quinqueremes, with 3 banks of rowers, 2 each for the upper 2 oars and 1 rower on the lower, around 300 in total. Ships could also have with a platform which marines could use to easily board enemy vessels known as the corvus. Most warships were lightweight, built for speed, cramped, and without room for storage or even a large body of troops. Weapons on a Roman ship included a bronze-covered battering ram below the water, an artillery ballista which could be mounted on ships to provide lethal salvos on enemy land positions. Fireballs, pots of burning pitch, could also be launched at the enemy vessel to destroy it by fire rather than ramming. Ships had huge catapults to fire rocks and flaming missiles at their opponents. Roman naval tactics were very similar to the methods employed by the earlier Greeks. In actual battle, sailing maneuverability was limited, so when at close quarters with the enemy, rowers propelled the vessels. Sails and rigging were stored on shore, which saved weight, increased the vessel's stability, and left more room for marines. The objective was to position the ram to punch a hole in the enemy vessel and then withdraw to allow water into the damaged ship. Alternatively, a well-aimed swipe could break one bank of the enemy's oars and thus disable it. To achieve this sort of damage, the best angle of attack was to the enemy's flank or rear. This is why, over time, vessels had more and more rowers, not along the ship's length, which would make the ship unseaworthy, but by piling rowers on top of each other. Thus the trireme of the Greeks, with 3 levels of rowers, had evolved from the bireme with 2 levels, and the trireme eventually evolved into the Roman quinquereme. The corvus was a spiked platform that allowed Roman soldiers to charge onto enemy ships. The corvus was also able to swivel around so it can be dropped on either side of the ship. The ships also had towers on the decks which enabled archers to aim down at soldiers on the decks of enemy ships.